What if the US decides it's had enough? No more trade deals, no more global policing, no more Silicon Valley exports, just America for Americans. Would the rest of the world collapse or adapt? Let's find out what happens when the US economically decouples from the world. The global economy runs on a tightly woven web of trade, capital, and cooperation, and the US sits right at the center. But what if Washington decides to unplug? No more iPhones made in China. No more defense for Europe. No more US dollars flowing across borders. It's not fiction, it's a rising reality. Let's break it down. As of today, the US is 1. 24% of global GDP. 2. Number 1 importer in the world, over $3 trillion a year. 3. A top foreign investor, with over $6.5 trillion in global FDI. 4. Home to tech and pharma giants relied upon by billions. And of course, the issuer of the US dollar used in 88% of global trade. From microchips to movie rights, from oil pricing to venture capital, global systems are built around access to the American market. So what's at stake if the US pulls back? First, global trade chaos. Many economies, especially export-heavy ones like Mexico, China, Germany, depend on access to American consumers. A US exit would send shockwaves through supply chains. Second, tech slowdown. US firms lead in cloud computing, semiconductors, and AI. A decoupling would choke off access to critical patents, chips, and funding. Third, dollar domino effect. If the US restricts dollar outflows or disengages from SWIFT-like systems, it could lead to currency volatility and a scramble for alternative systems, likely led by China or BRICS. Fourth, security gaps. NATO, ASEAN security guarantees, gone. Nations would need to rearm, re-strategize, and realign in a world without the US defense umbrella. The vacuum left by the US wouldn't stay empty for long. China steps up. Beijing would likely accelerate its global Belt and Road ambitions, pushing the yuan as a trade settlement currency. It already accounts for 5% of global reserves, a number that could rise fast. EU internal consolidation Europe would be forced to invest more heavily in defense, energy security, and digital infrastructure. Expect a stronger, more autonomous bloc, or a fractured one. Rise of regionalism trade would become more regional. Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia may begin to form new intra-regional partnerships, reducing reliance on trans-Pacific or transatlantic routes. Tech nationalism governments would double down on domestic innovation, reshoring production, and building homegrown tech giants. The age of open innovation might give way to firewalled progress. In the short term, global recession risk as markets recalibrate, supply chain disruptions in everything from rare earths to medicine. Stock markets plunge, especially in countries dependent on US capital. In the long term, a multipolar economic world emerges. Rise in regional power blocks, think ASEAN, BRICS Plus, African Union. Slower global growth, but more localized resilience. Potential de-dollarization of trade, with digital currencies gaining ground. But here's the twist. The world can survive without US commercial dominance. But it won't be the world we know. It will be slower, more fragmented, and possibly more unstable, at least for a while. So, can the world survive without the US? Yes, but it won't be easy. From trade to tech to trust, we'd all feel the tremors. Decoupling isn't just an economic shift. It's a reshaping of global civilization. Want to know who wins, who loses, and what you should prepare for? Hit subscribe. We break down complex global shifts, simply,